Hi, so I am just going to show you how you can practice the movement pattern of the hip hinge. So when we do a deadlift or a deadlift variation, it is a movement pattern, it is an exercise where we're doing the hinge movement pattern. So the hinge is where the movement is coming from your hips. So you want to think of this like, it's kind of like one of those wooden birds that do this as they dip their beaks into the water. So all of your movements coming from your hips. Now, when you do a hip hinge, we want to be thinking about your body in two parts. So we have your upper, which is from your head to your hips, and that is all one solid unit. And then we have your lower, which is from your hips down to your feet. So essentially, your hips are acting like a door hinge. So my whole upper unit is moving as one. So you'll see that my head is staying in line with my spine as I move up and down. There's no movement through here at all. If there is, it means that you're breaking through your midline and there could be potentially issues with your lower back or pain through your lower back. So what we're going to do, just going back a bit, all of the exercises that we do, or like the compound exercises that we do with your training, so compound exercises are multi-joint, multi-muscle movements, and they are great because you are getting more bang for your buck. So with a deadlift, for example, you're using multiple joints, multiple muscles. Same with a squat, same with like a press, like a bench press or a push-up, and like a pull-up or a rowing exercise. So with all your exercises, they are based on these fundamental movement patterns. So what I'm going to talk about is the hinge, and then we have knee flexion or a squat movement pattern, and then we have a push, which can be a horizontal push, or it can be a vertical push. Then we have a pull, which again can be a horizontal pull like a seated row, or a vertical pull like a lat pull down. But the hinge is really the most difficult to kind of learn. So I'm just going to give you a drill that you can do at home to practice. So what you're going to do, thinking about all of those things that I just said. So thinking about your upper unit and your lower unit, right? Now standing in front of a wall, just about maybe a couple of inches away from the wall, your heels. Now I want you to place your hands on your thighs. From here, you're going to set your shoulders back and down, so pin your shoulder blades down into your heels. You're going to pin your ribs down, and from here you're just going to slightly bend your knees and then push your hips back. So as you go back, your hands will slide down your thighs and then back up again. So slowly soften your knees and then push your hips back and then stand. So you're not trying to get your chest down to the ground, but you're only going to go back as far as your hips allow you. That's pretty easy, right? So now we're going to take a step forward. Hands on your legs, ribs pinned down, shoulder blades pressed down. Soften your knees a little bit. Now I'm going to push my hips back. I'm going to keep going, my weight is in my heels. I'm going to keep going until I touch the wall. And now my hands are just below my knees, my shins are vertical, my back is super straight. I can feel this in my hamstrings. I'm going to push my feet into the ground to stand. And again, hips back, keep pushing my butt back, hips back, hips back, hips back, and stand. So that is how we can practice the movement pattern of the hinge to help with your deadlift. So then if we were going to do a deadlift here, if I was holding a kettlebell in front of my legs, or a barbell, I would be going down to the ground, soften my knees, hips back, hips back, hips back. Now, if I was going all the way to the ground, once the barbell or the kettlebell or the dumbbells comes just below my knees, that's permission to then bend your knees a little bit more while keeping your shoulders over your toes. Then from here, I would stand up again. So, that's how you can practice your hip hinge movement at home, by a wall, thinking about upper unit, lower unit, keeping your ribs pinned down and keeping your head in line with your spine, your shoulders stacked, and your weight wants to be distributed sort of towards the back of your foot. You should feel this in your hamstrings. If you cannot, then you need to just straighten out your legs a little bit more. You might be bending your knees too much. Hope this helps.